Yo, what's good, guys? Today we're diving into something that doesn't get enough love but can totally level up your friendships. Setting boundaries. If you're in your late 20s or 30s, you've probably seen some friendships hit rough patches. Maybe there was drama, maybe there's some resentment. A lot of that comes down to unclear boundaries. In this video, we're breaking down why boundaries are crucial in friendships, how your brain health helps you set them, why the unspoken rules of younger friendships just don't cut it anymore, and how boundaries bring more authenticity to your connections. Plus, we'll talk about how clear boundaries build friendships that last. And yeah, we're backing it all up with research too. So, let's jump in. First, let's talk about why boundaries are a big deal in friendships. Boundaries are like the rules of the game. They spell out what's okay and what's not, like how much time you're going to spend together, how much emotional support you're giving, or what you're cool sharing. A 2019 study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that friendships with clear boundaries, like agreeing on how often you hang out, or respecting each other's need for space, are more satisfying and have way less conflict. Now, what happens when boundaries aren't clear? You get misunderstandings, stress, and resentment. Maybe your buddy's always venting to you and you're burned out from playing the therapist. Or you're saying yes to every hangout, then feeling drained because you've got no time for yourself. Research from Frontiers in Psychology in 2021 shows unclear boundaries can lead to frustration and even cause friendships to fall apart. Without boundaries, you're either stepping on each other's toes or you're bottling up annoyance. But when you set clear boundaries, that's when friendships tend to thrive. That same 2019 study showed boundaries build trust because everyone knows where they stand. For example, saying, "Hey, I need a night to chill solo this week." That isn't being distant, it's just being real. It keeps the friendship healthy so that you're not secretly annoyed or ghosting every single time the person wants to hang out. So, how do you even figure out where your boundaries are? This is where cognitive health and mindfulness come in. Your brain is like the control center for understanding what you need and how to say it. When you prioritize cognitive health, so think good sleep, exercise, maybe some meditation, you get better at tuning into your inner voice. Now that's the part of you that says, "I'm cool with this, but that crosses the line." A 2018 study in Frontiers in Psychology found that mindfulness practices like meditating for 10 minutes a day boost emotional intelligence. That means you're better at noticing when you're feeling drained or disrespected, signs that you need a boundary. Another study from cognitive therapy and research in 2020 showed that cognitive tools like journaling or talking to a therapist help you clarify your values and your needs. So, if you're journaling and you realize you're tired of always being the one to plan group hangouts, you can set a boundary like, "I'll plan once a month, but someone else needs to step up." So, mindfulness also makes you more confident in setting those boundaries. A 2019 study in Journal of Clinical Psychology found that stress management practices, so deep breathing or mindfulness, help you stay calm and assertive when you're laying down a boundary. So instead of feeling weird about saying, "I can't talk every day, man," you're clear and you're grounded. The bottom line is a healthy brain helps you know your boundaries and communicate them clearly. Now, let's talk about why boundaries feel different as you get older. When you're younger, so think teens or early 20s, friendships often run on what's called unspoken agreements. These are the informal, assumed understandings between friends about how the friendship works, without ever explicitly talking about it. So, example, maybe you and your high school buddies had an unspoken agreement that you'd all hang out every weekend, no questions asked, and you drop everything to be there. Now, that worked back then because you had fewer responsibilities, and a lot of those friendships thrived on loose, undefined boundaries. You were just vibing, right? But here's the problem. Those unspoken agreements only work until life gets real. A 2016 meta-analysis in Psychological Bulletin found that as people age, relationships need more structure to stay healthy. In your late 20s and 30s, you're balancing jobs, maybe relationships, even kids, and your time and energy are limited. If you're still relying on those vague, unspoken rules, you're going to run into issues, like one friend leaning on you too much or getting mad because you're not as available. That's why the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships study from 2019 stressed that explicit boundaries become critical as life gets more complex. You can't just assume that your friends know what's up anymore. So here's where it gets cool. Setting boundaries is like an invitation for your friends to show up as their real, authentic selves. And authenticity, that's the key to building tight, meaningful friendships. When you set a boundary, you're being upfront about who you are and what you need. That kind of honesty invites your friends to be real too. And it creates a vibe where everyone can drop the mask and be their authentic selves. Think about it. If you say, I can't always be the one to initiate plans, let's take turns, you're being authentic about your need for balance. A friend who's on your wavelength might say, yo, I appreciate that, I'll step up and do my part, showing their true self and their respect for you. But someone who keeps expecting you to do all the work, that shows that they might not vibe with your authentic needs, and the boundary helps you see that clearly. A 2017 study in Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin backs this up. Authentic self-expression strengthens bonds with people who share your values, but naturally weeds out those who don't. Boundaries also amplify the authenticity in your friendships. They create a safe space where you and your friends can be vulnerable and real, like sharing your goals or admitting when you're actually stressed, because your limits now are being respected. A 2018 study in communication research found that boundary agreements boost trust, making it easier to have those deep, genuine conversations. Plus, boundaries clarify who you really connect with. A 2019 study in Journal of Social and Personal Relationships showed that clear boundaries help you figure out who's down for the real you, drawing in the right people and filtering out the ones who don't fit. So, by setting boundaries, you're not just protecting your energy, you're building friendships that are raw, real, and built on mutual respect. So, this all leads to the big payoff. Clear boundaries are the secret sauce for friendships that go the distance. Think about your closest friends, the ones you know you're going to still be tight with in 10 years. Those friendships probably have some unspoken respect for each other's limits, but they're also built on clarity. A 2021 study in Frontiers in Psychology found that friendships where people openly discuss boundaries, like how much emotional support they can give or how often they can meet up, are more resilient. Now, why is that? Because you're not guessing what the other person needs. You're on the same page. For example, Maybe you and your best friend agree to check in once a week instead of texting 24/7. Or maybe you're upfront about needing a heads up before last-minute plans. That's not being rigid, it's building a friendship that respects both of you. Research from Communication Research in 2018 backs this up. Clear boundary agreements boost trust and cut down on conflict, making your bond stronger. Close friendships that last aren't about being together all the time. They're about giving each other room to grow while staying connected. So, let's bring this home. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about building stronger, healthier, and more authentic friendships that respect who you are. Unclear boundaries lead to drama, resentment, and probably burnout, but clear ones create trust, respect, and satisfaction per studies like the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships. Taking care of your cognitive health with stuff like mindfulness or journaling helps you tune into your needs and set those boundaries with confidence, backed by research in Frontiers in Psychology. While younger friendships might roll with unspoken agreements, as you hit your late 20s and 30s, clarity is king. And by setting boundaries, you're inviting your friends to be their real selves, which builds the kind of raw, genuine connections that end up lasting a lifetime, according to Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin and Communication Research. So, take a minute today. Think about one friendship where you could set a clearer boundary. Maybe it's saying no to a last-minute plan or being upfront about needing space. Your friends will respect you for it, and your friendships will be tighter for it. Drop a comment below. What's one boundary you've set that made your friendships more real? And if you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Let's keep building those solid, authentic connections. I'll catch you in the next one.